Hi, John. It's a real honor to meet you. When I first saw The Force Awakens, I was still in high school, so I think I was a
My
freshman.
gosh.
But I just graduated college now, so this is kind of a full circle thing for me. So
Hey,
thank you for
that's
your
great.
time.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
well,
Appreciate it.
well, and congratulations on breaking. Your performance is amazing. But let me just ask you first, how's your day going?
No, my day's going good. Day going good. The day's going well. I think we're going to be done a little bit early, which is not too bad.
Good. Good. Well, of course, you've done such a wide range of projects, films the size of I don't know, the robots in Pacific Rim, and then also films on a smaller scale. But is there anything that you take from the experiences that you've had on those bigger budget films that you kind of apply to smaller films, maybe like Breaking?
I think the process remains the same in terms of approaching a character. I guess the only stage that's very different is that it's research for a lot of films that are based on a true story. And whereas in, with bigger things, it's much more imagination. It's like, can the robot do this? Like, I could be more imaginative. I could be much more of a kid. Whereas in, these movies, I got to be an adult, got to listen, got to understand the facts, and then use that to perform.
Well, and I just heard an interview, I think you were on the Today Show, where you talked about the research process for Breaking. And you spoke with Brian, who you play in the film, his real ex-wife, right, in real life. So, of course, she gave you things that you probably could base your performance on, which is great. But is there anything in the film that was just you, things that weren't maybe given to you that you just added into your performance?
I think there was definitely a whole bunch of improv that was in a few scenes, but I haven't watched it in such a long. I can't pinpoint where, but there was like frustrating moments where Brian puts up the remote with the bomb, the bomb remote, and he starts to go in about the kind of attention that he needs, especially when he's talking to the reporter. A lot of those moments, I was just angry as a character. I was like, this is, yeah, I don't know if Abby done it on purpose, but I'd pick up the phone to ring intake, and then it would go to another line, and then it would be so complicated. I just start getting frustrated, start shouting, and that in itself was what we used as various times to just get an energy, and also to show the frustrations that he was going through.
And I was going to ask about what you had to channel in those moments, but I guess you kind of answered that. But the film is kind of heavy, right? It's not a necessarily like a fun watch. So that makes me it's hard for me to imagine the viewer like, oh, there must have been fun times on set. But were there any fun memories that you do have off camera?
Yeah, just me, Michael K. Williams worked on this, which was fun, and having him around was a good time. Me and Olivia Washington had a good time on this as well. Loads of laughs, loads of conversation. So there were definitely good times, but yeah, it wasn't like a studio film where you get bored and you want to go steal the golf buggy and you know plan tricks and do all that kind of stuff. It felt much more controlled in that sense.
And what do you kind of hope audiences are taking away from the film? And can you kind of sell the film to somebody who might not know anything about it?
Yeah, for me, it's just about audience having a sense of empathy and insight into a lifestyle that you may not understand. Imagine a member of your family drafted out to go and fight a war. They come back and then they're not given the support that they needed. And what happens when that person now goes and holds up a Wells Fargo bank to get that money back? So yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, that circumstances of also feeling frustrated and not heard is something I think to a certain extent all of us can relate to, or we felt during our lives. So it will be interesting to see this in the circumstance in which you've done the best you can for your country, but you're not supported.
And of course, like I said earlier, you kind of based a lot of your performance, I'm sure, on the notes you were given from Brian's real life ex-wife. But were there any films you did look at? Perhaps my mind kept going back to Dog Day Afternoon. Of course, the settings are similar. But are there any films you looked at when prepping for this film?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched Dog Day Afternoons, and I've heard that being mentioned a lot of time. But I'm gonna go see it, and that's that through line. But no, I don't ever watch other films to give me what to do for another. It just wouldn't work that way because of the detail of Brian, and then also at the same time, what myself and Abby are plotting. So it's literally through Brian's story, through my collaboration with Abby, and then moments that we see on set that give you the performance that you got.
Perfect. Well, I'm out of time with you. It was a pleasure to meet you, and hopefully I will speak to you again down the line. Thank you, John.
All right, man.